Good morning, graduates and guests. Please stand while Lisa Kovacs leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Kindly remain standing following the pledge for the national anthem performed by our high school choir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You graduates, you may be seated. Welcome to the Northport High School Commencement Ceremony. We join together today to celebrate the achievements of the class of 2022. My name is Robert Dennis, and I have the distinct privilege of serving as the principal for this outstanding group of young men and women. It is my pleasure to introduce the guests seated behind me, as well as those with our students. Please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. The President of the Board of Education, Dr. Larry Licopoli. Vice President of the Board of Education, Ms. Victoria Buscarino. Trustees of the Board of Education, Mr. Thomas Lochran, Ms. Donna McNaughton, Ms. Allison Noonan, Ms. Carol Taylor. Former Board of Education trustees, Mr. Jim Maloney, Ms. Lori McHugh. The Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Robert Banzer. The Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Ms. Irene McLaughlin. The Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning, Dr. Dana Boschnak. The Assistant Superintendent for Special Education and Student Support Services, Mr. Louis Bonadonna. The Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mr. Robert Howard. Director of Fine and Performing Arts, Dr. Izette Mergen. Director of Secondary Special Education, Ms. Allison Jamo. Director of Student Support Services, Ms. Shannon D'Antuono. Coordinator of Reading, AIS, Tara Geis. District Chairperson of Mathematics, Ms. Robin Ran. District Chairperson of Social Studies, Mr. Sean Hurley. District Director of Elementary Special Education, Ms. Carrie Kruger. Northport Middle School Assistant Principal, Dr. Chelsea Brown. Northport High School Assistant Principal, Mr. Terrence Hinson. Northport High School Assistant Principal and Grade Level Administrator for the class of 2022, Mr. Angelo Cocciola. Northport High School Assistant Principal and Grade Level Administrator for the class of 2022, Ms. Denise Keenan. Our school counselors, Mr. Louis Oconee, Ms. Kristen Katz, Ms. Amanda Cufo, Ms. Laura DeSantis, Ms. Lenore Kimiatek, Ms. Jenny Conop, Ms. Kristen Orig, Ms. Marianne Powers. Senior class advisors, Deborah Cavalier and Danielle Rocasano. Band director, Ms. Lynn Croman. Choral director, Mr. Dana Warren. We welcome many members of our faculty who are here to support our students. Certainly without your endless efforts over the last 4 years, the accomplishments of these students before us today would not be possible. I ask that we take a moment to thank the faculty and staff of the Northport East Northport School District. Also present today are 4 important members of our clerical staff: Miss Nancy Zvitniowski, Miss Nancy Rapp, and Miss Liz Reisdick. Please join me in welcoming all distinguished guests. Students, class of 2022, I ask that you please take this opportunity to thank the guests who are here with you this beautiful morning, your parents, guardians, grandparents, friends, and family. That was a little labored, and I know early mornings are not your thing, so let me ask one more time to please thank those in the stands who are here with you today. Please join me in welcoming Northport High School's choir as they perform Fields of Gold under the direction of Mr. Dana Warren. Joining us to introduce our salutatorian is Assistant Principal Mr. Angelo Cocciola.
Good morning. I'm honored to introduce the Salutatorian of the Northport High School class of 2022. When you meet Michael Torres and have the chance to talk to him, you quickly see why his peers and our staff speak highly of him. His smile is from ear to ear, and he gives you his full attention. Michael has been described as respectful, a gentleman, kind, a team player, humble, brilliant, a leader, funny, caring, honest, friendly, and intelligent. One teacher summed up Michael's academic aptitude by calling him the brightest student to walk through her door in 18 years. Michael truly enjoys learning. To him, school is not a job or chore. It is a way to gain knowledge and apply what he knows to improve himself, support his peers, help his community. He regularly offered up his time to classmates and acted as a tutor or study group leader. Michael dedicated time after school and on the weekends to fix a software problem for a piece of science research equipment. When he learned he was salutatorian of his class, Michael modestly thanked his teachers for supporting him in his academic journey. In August, Michael will embark on his next chapter and begin his studies at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. His mother said that since the age of 5, Michael knew he would one day attend MIT. I had the opportunity to speak with Michael about his future plans, but also to discuss how he started on this path. Michael said that when he was a kid, he always questioned everything, and that math paved the way to find answers and prove things to himself. As a student at Northport High School, Michael served as the president of several organizations, including Mathletes, the Academic Club, Science Olympiad, and outside of school, he enjoys programming and has created ways to visualize his mathematics. Looking ahead, Michael plans to pursue a PhD in mathematics and ultimately a career in research. Michael has earned Student of the Month honors, perfect scores on Regents exams, participated in research programs at Stony Brook University and Brookhaven Laboratory, earned his IB diploma, and gained acceptance into the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. But when I asked Michael about his advice for students, he didn't say get involved. He didn't say study hard. He didn't say challenge yourself. Michael said build relationships with your teachers and classmates and help each other. So please join me in welcoming the salutatorian of the class of 2022, Michael Torres.
Yeah, so basically, I'm Michael Torres, and probably I'd like to. So don't worry, that's just an impression of myself in 9th grade trying to order a pizza or something, right? So again, I'm Michael Torres, and as salutatorian, I'd like to welcome students, faculty, friends, and family to the 2022 Northport High School graduation ceremony. Also known as potentially the last time you'll be forced to listen to me. So, as you can probably hear, I've changed. Everyone's changed. So with heavy inspiration from Haran, I figured the most effective way of recalling and reflecting upon the last 4 years would be to utilize a skill I've been building since freshman year. And no, I surprisingly don't mean procrastination. Sorry, Ms. Klein, and Ms. Moore, and Haran, and Collins. I'm talking about conducting and presenting actual research. So in conjunction with that dreadful opening, let me present some background information from when I was just entering high school. I believe that back then, we were all very different people in one way or another. Like I was probably, I don't know, like this tall. It's crazy how much a person can physically change. In 9th grade, me probably would have described very blandly, of course, as standing up at this podium is just one of the many elements of the set of all impossibilities. For one, I could barely even stand in front of a group of 3 people, let alone a group of hundreds containing teachers, Mr. Dennis, and even more intimidating, my mom. I knew only a handful of people and expected it to stay that way. As I speak about what personally influenced me, I ask each of you to think back and remember your own personal experiences while you tackle a research question. How and through what means can high school change an individual? With this, we can analyze the mad experiment that we've lived in for the past 4 years. Well, before that, let's lay out our materials and methods. As freshman year began, our 2 middle schools were thrown together, allowing me to meet so many of you for the first time, although, to be fair, it was a little bit overwhelming. As I settled in freshman year, I began a transition to find my place in math and research, meeting many incredibly smart, funny, and very eccentric individuals along the way. Beginning sophomore year, I could say I truly began to enjoy my high school experience. Ignoring the fact I'm classifying you guys as materials, let's begin the analysis. Firstly, I'd like to talk about the student body, especially those a part of the IB diploma. IB represent. Also, sorry guys for giving you another TOK prompt. So, working together to cover topics in math, science, and history effectively pushed me out of the mindset of simply learning for myself. It taught me how to create strong intuition surrounding complex concepts, build strong conceptual foundations, and most importantly, communicate as I'm doing right now. It gave the ability to provide academic support to such a point that I was able to connect with so many different people that I received, although it's highly, highly exaggerated, a superlative title, something I definitely could have never initially imagined. Even more important, however, I learned something unique from each one of you. I learned how to express myself. I learned how to accept support. I learned extensively about topics I was never familiar with, such as history and geography. I even learned how good creek water can taste, surprisingly. I cannot even track how many times I was grateful for you guys for pushing me out of my comfort zone. Thank you. Secondly, I'd like to thank the faculty at Northport, with each department playing an important role in my development. The math department helped me create my fundamental approach to learning, while also being the area I had most interest in. The science department pushed me to become more comfortable presenting research. And yes, Plum Island, Long Island Science Congress, and Ecuador at last. Imagine getting sick though, like couldn't be me. Even the English department tried, emphasis on tried, to teach me how not to write a speech last minute. In all seriousness though, I'm incredibly grateful for the many opportunities my teachers presented me. I think of many of you as friends now, and although my role is to focus on the past, I'm excited to show you all what I do in the future. Although I'm rambling on like it's Thanksgiving or some other holiday, I'll take the time to evaluate your personal experiment of high school. The past is an important utility. Ask how you might have changed and analyze what occurred, effectively providing you a true understanding of how influential our high school years have been. Move forward with this information and learn what is and isn't positive, and of course, push for those positive experiences. You never know what can happen, like one of you might actually be able to beat me in word hunt eventually. Students, enjoy your graduation and your transition to college, and parents, enjoy finally having a quieter home, or be sad, I guess. Again, I welcome all of you to this conclusion of the last 4 years. Thank you.
The word commencement, as you know, means beginning. And before we think about the beginning of the next chapter in your book of life, we should give pause to reflect on how you arrived here. Parents, grandparents, guardians, and family members, our graduation candidates would not be here before us today without your love and support. Moms and dads, think back to the first time you laid eyes on your child. You were left in awe at the sheer amount of love that overcame you in the immediate moments after meeting that miracle. Now 17 or 18 years old and about to graduate high school. Aside from love and joy, other emotions undoubtedly swirled throughout your mind. Fear, nervousness, wonder, and the fleeting feeling of knowing what it is like to be fully rested, understanding that your time enjoying a sound sleep was a characteristic of a life that you would likely never know again. You looked down at your bundle of joy and began to imagine a world of hope, of possibilities, and of questions. Would you know what to do? Did you have all the answers? And a series of what-ifs filled your thoughts at an increasing rate. You consulted parenting books, internet blogs, wise words of older relatives, and more. And somehow, you got into the swing of things. You found a groove. Class of 2022, your parents got you dressed in bows bigger than your head for your first recital. And they tied your cleats for your first Larkfield Northport Little League game. They watched you get on the bus, nervous and excited, for your first day of kindergarten. They kissed your scraped knees and found SpongeBob Band-Aids for your exaggerated emergencies. They advised you and encouraged you to gain the confidence to ask your crush to go to the middle school canteen with you. And in these last 4 years, they were a shoulder to cry on and a source of comfort and confidence for all that life has thrown your way. So, parents, while 18 years ago you might have been uncertain of your ability to succeed in this new job, you eventually figured out that all you and your child needed to know was true. All you and your child needed to get through the uncertainty of what life would throw your way was a matter of heart. Listen to your heartbeat now. Feel the breaths you take in at this moment, in between those heartbeats. And as you catch your heart beating, you'll feel the gentle close of your eyelid, and you'll realize the old adage is true. It went by in the blink of an eye. Our graduates are here today because of your heart, and they have you and your unwavering love and commitment to thank for the commencement of their new journey. As we prepare to distribute diplomas and officially graduate the class of 2022, I'd like to have one final conversation with our senior class. In thinking about the best way to bid farewell to you today, I find myself searching high and low for a miraculous piece of advice to give to you. I scrolled the internet, listened to podcasts, took several solitary walks waiting for a moment of inspiration, and even watched a motivational speaker or two from today's halls of philosophy, best known as TikTok. And like your parents in their beginning days and weeks learning the ropes and trying to figure it out by reading parenting tips and advice books, it wasn't until I dusted off an old book of mine written by Carol Bolt called The Book of Answers that I found the guidance I had been seeking. As its title suggests, this book has all the answers to our burning questions, so I knew it would be the perfect place to shine some light on a commencement speech. The secret to the book, you see, is that it is just full of answers. No questions, no controversies, nothing to consider, no competing perspectives or ideologies to weigh, no black, white, or gray areas, no ethical dilemmas, just simply answers. And so the reader of the book poses a question either out loud or in their head and turns to any random page, reads the answer, and weighs in their mind whether or not the answer applies to the situation at hand. You could, for example, ask, will it be sunny today? Open the book, turn to page 57, read the following answer out loud. Why, yes, it will. Or ask, was high school the greatest 4 years of my life? Find out the answer on page 101. Ask again later, you are told. You might ask yourself, when will this guy stop talking? And together we will turn to page 123 and read the answer in due time, I promise. Thinking about the class of 2022, I found myself thinking deeply about the questions you have had to grapple with over these last few years. Sure, you've had the questions that have plagued teenagers since the dawn of time. Will I have friends? Will I fit in? Will my team win? Will my teacher notice if I cut class? Turn to any page in this book, and more than likely, you could find an answer applicable to the question asked. But as you know, your reality is far more complex and uncertain than the traditional high school experience. Just think about the last few years. The questions that you have had to grapple with later today, tomorrow, and in your futures. And as I reflected on the book and more questions came to my mind, the more in disbelief I grew at the fact that if we have learned anything as a school community or society in these last 2 years, it is that life's most challenging questions have no easy answers. And I thought, this book cannot be applicable today. It must be ancient history. How could any book posit itself on knowing all the answers to our most vexing questions? Class of 2022, think about the questions that you have had to consider over your time at Northport High School. Will I ever see my friends or teachers again? What if I get sick? What if I get someone else sick? Is it safe to go? When will life be normal again? What should I do? If we sat down together and wrote out all the questions we've had as a result of our new reality, I assure you we could fill an entire book and still not have touched the surface. The questions of our time and your generation are difficult ones. And the more I think about this book, the more dissatisfied I am with the set of answers given to your challenging questions. In your time at Northport High School, though, I know that you have developed the tools to be thoughtful communicators, empathetic analyzers, deliberate thinkers, and open-minded collaborators. The Book of Answers likely doesn't have the answers to many of your questions. And while at first that might seem daunting and scary and like a promise unkept, knowing you the way we as a school community do, we know that the updated version of this book that you will write will have answers that consider our time's most crucial questions. We look to you on your commencement day as you begin to author the questions and answers to not only your own journey, but to the collective shared experiences of our society, with many of those same emotions that filled your parents' eyes when they first met you as a baby. full of love, joy, fear, nervousness, wonder, and an immense amount of pride. We are proud of the people you have become. We are proud of the questions you've had to grapple with, proud of the resiliency you have shown, and proud of the answers that you have given us. Graduating high school, it is fitting to think about the advice of Albert Einstein. He contends that when given a problem to solve and only an hour to solve it, it's best to spend the first 55 minutes thinking about all the questions, and then from there, landing on an answer. On behalf of the faculty and staff at Northport High School, I look forward with a tremendous amount of optimism, pride, and gratitude, knowing that the next book of answers will have you as its authors. You will weigh the dilemmas, balance the perspectives, and artfully shape our collective thoughts for the future. The world is in good hands with you as you open the page to the next chapter in your beautiful book of life. It has been an honor to serve as your principal. I can't wait to hear all the amazing things you will do in your long, healthy, and happy lives. Congratulations to the Northport High School class of 2022. President Lacopoli, members of the Board of Education, the students before you have met the New York State requirements for high school graduation, and it is with great pride that I present to you the class of 2022.
Jason Allstrand.
Avery Simons.
Christian Amorosa.
John Lennox.
Dylan Arkin.
Miles Lerner.
Noah Armstrong.
Sam Levins.
Jackson Arthur.
Savannah Levy.
Joseph Athanasio.
Jinlin Lau.
Brian Avila.
Farah Lippitz.
Gianna Barr.
Emma Labasso.
Soraya Basrai.
Chris Locasano.
Nicholas Bennett.
Jonathan Locke.
Amelia Bernhard.
Camille Lombardo.
Justin Basosa.
Angelina Longo.
Michael Bianchi.
Flor Lopez.
Sophia Bika.
Good job, Bika.
Esther Loring.
Jack Bisson.
Aiden Lachlan.
Justin Blumberg.
Jacob Lubeck.
Juliet Bonchansky.
Garrett Lupo.
Nicholas Bonomo.
Jessica Lewowski.
Ryan Borina.
Ava Lynch.
Erin Bosch.
Willem Lynn.
Luke Brannon.
Vincent McAnony.
Dylan Richard Braun.
Derek Mackles.
Emma Brazier.
Kaylee Makowitz.
Taylor Breck.
Kaylee Maloney.
Jack Breckling.
Connor Maltese.
Peyton Brill.
Natalie Mancusi.
Christina Brocato.
Justin Marcus.
Brandon Brown.
Emma Martinson.
Kaylee Brummel.
Valentina Masoni.
Max Brustmeyer.
Nicholas Mazzara.
Logan Burkhart.
Madison McCabe.
Matthew Burkhart.
Yasmin Adi McConnell.
Evan Burke.
Oh, your hat is awesome.
Aiden McDermott.
Connor Burns.
Ryan McEnroe.
Thomas Butler.
Braden McFadden.
Ella Cabrera.
Robert McGinley.
Lily Kakemo.
Yeah, C's here.
Shane McGlone.
Emily Calica.
Ella Nagori.
Weston Camelone.
Charlotte McGroarty.
Aiden Campbell.
Erin McKenna.
Ella Campbell.
Madison McLaughlin.
Jackson Campbell.
Yeah, Jackson.
Dylan McNaughton.
Get Dylan.
Andrew Canales.
Brandon Miner.
Jose Candelaria.
Naomi Mendonis.
Zachary Canella.
Julia Mescalado.
Robert Cantwell.
Michael Meyer.
Samantha Caracagiolo.
Jason Molman.
Zoe Caracciolo.
Tyler Majewski.
Belky Marisol Caballero Gamez.
Brandon Miranda.
Andrew Carlson.
Rachel Minconi.
Joseph Castellazzo.
Asa Mickelbank.
Roberto Castro.
Liam McClulis Mesco.
Wesley Castro.
Noah Middendorf.
Chase Kauke.
Michael Monda.
Dallin Kauke.
Chloe Montanino.
Jordan Kavanaugh.
Ryan Moores Dennehy.
Kyle Sedfelt.
David Moore.
Jason Salura.
Raymond Marino.
Robert Salura.
Peter Mosa.
Olivia Cesarano.
Anthony Meklis.
Lily Chambers.
Mackenzie Mueller.
Ivan Chan.
Brooke Mullen.
Artem Charland.
Derek Mullen.
Logan Chin.
Aiden Murdoch.
Madeline Siersky.
Michelle Muratori.
Julia Sincata.
Dylan Murphy.
Nicholas Sinelli.
William Murphy.
Victoria Cipollino.
Jack Myers.
Braden Sizik.
Yensi Nataran.
Haley Coffey.
Theodore Nealis.
Zachary Cole.
Paris Neofutua.
Aaron Colonna.
Maxim Nikorov.
Connor Colantonio.
Eleanor Noonan.
Catherine Conlon.
Franklin Noonan.
Brendan Connolly.
Kate Nye.
Colleen Conroy.
Quinn O'Brien Kersey.
Danny Cordero.
Preston Orby.
Renee Cormier.
Olivia Orlando.
Mateo Cornetta.
Chelsea Orman.
John Core.
Avery Orofino.
Abigail Coyle.
Carlin Overton.
Henry Katita.
Max Paguaga.
Eli Dalton.
Brenna Parker.
Ashley Dawson.
Ava Perlman.
Jonathan DeSiglia.
Jake Panino.
Isabella DeFeo.
Connor Perkowski.
Olivia DeFeo.
Michael Perino.
Noah Del Judas.
Julia Perry.
Nisanor Demiraglu.
Amanda Patrunti.
Ashley DeRock.
Haley Pike.
Louis Desario.
Kirsten Pitfick.
Timothy DeTola.
Nicholas Pullman.
Jake Dignam.
Jack Pukowski.
Christopher Dillon.
Stylianos Politides.
Joseph D'Onofrio.
William Kemp Ponder III.
Natalia D'Onofrio.
Danielle Pothos.
Jackson Donahue.
Isabel Potter.
Haley Dreesy.
Mary Powers.
Dan Eagers.
Liam Prisco.
Jacqueline Eldon.
Michael Puglisi.
Zachary Elkiki.
Aiden Raffa.
Christy Elvire Lagos.
Brian Ramirez.
Molly Evans.
Anthony Raganella.
Ryder Ivonic.
Calder Rayo.
Avery Farrell.
Zolmi Ramos Pinto.
Patrick Farrell.
Anthony Randazzo.
Peter Ferrara III.
Kyle Razizi.
William Fitzpatrick.
Zara Razi.
Aiden Flynn.
Allison Reed.
Tyler Florio.
Chloe Riley.
Will Flynn.
Tristan Riley.
Aiden Foley.
Grace Rochelle.
Dylan Foley.
Nina Ritter.
Matthew Foley.
Haley Rothel.
Stephen Forshner.
Alexander Romero.
Grace Fries.
Gabe Rosenblum.
Luke Frizzoli.
Blake Rossi.
Nicholas Fugini.
Leah Ruthkowski.
Craig Gander.
Audrey Ryan.
Robert Gans.
Kellen Ryan. Cameron Gaylor. Sophia Sabino. Isabella Germani. Jack Sandrib. Mia Giganakopoulos. William Sanders. Erin Gibbons. Ashley Sandvik. Sam Gibbons. Charles Sangerardi. Alec Gibbs. Amber Scalia. Caitlin Gilchrist. Jackson Scandalis. Nick Gilligan. Timothy Scheibe. Grace Gillen. Peyton Schilling. Devin Gilmore. Jackson Schmidt. Jonah Gold. Jack Schneiders. Gianna Gonzalez. Christian Schuckman. Michael Gorney. Amy Schwartz. Yvette Granados. Luke Shamimi. Christopher Gray. Sarah Scudolaro. James Graziano. Wyatt Simo. Braden Greenberg. Caroline Sereno. Liana Greenstein. Sean Serrano. Philip Greenwood. Cecile Saran. Liam Glockner. Minna Sheikh. Noah Gross. Alexa Shekian. Rebecca Gwynn. Luke Shellick. Ross Gulemi. Nick Shirley. Corey Geidish. Nicholas Shorey. Blake Hansen. Connor Simmons. Kylie Hardenfelder. Peter Simpson. Joseph Habrick. Mason Sapala. Madison Heckman. Joshua Slagle. Elizabeth Hedgecock. Leva Slevin. Hunter Hedgecock. Arthur Smith. Eric Heinecker. Maddox Smith. Jack Hellriegel. Shannon Smith. Chase Hendrickson. Ariana Soletti. Benjamin Herbert. Charlotte Soljanik. Lorelei Hewer. Allison Soul. Patrick Hines. Kieran Spadaro. Zachary Hinton. John Spinelli. Hunter Hohenscheid. Livia Stahora. Samuel Horning. Aiden Stang. Sean Hogan. Jacob Stark. Kelly Holden. Robert Stouse. Matthew Holm. Sean Stevens. Cassandra Howard. Leah Strategos. Isabella Ingraldi. Connor Strauss. Simona Iovani. Gavin Swarino. Gianna Iranuzzi. Nicholas Suriani. Michael Izzo. Samantha Sutherland. Tom Izzo. Patrick Sweeney. Olivia Jaworski. Tor Swenson. Karina Jimenez. Emily Sylvanas. Stephanie Jimenez. Aiden Tarnowski. Christopher Jordan.
Emmy Terranova.
Hayden Joyce.
Charlotte Thieg.
Luke Kaiser.
Holly Tilton.
John Karopoulos.
James Title.
James Casson.
Chad Tomsick.
Karen Keller.
Gabriel Torres.
Caroline Kelly.
Michael Torres.
Richard Kershaw.
Caitlin Trainer.
Genevieve Kessler Dewan.
Julia Triana.
Diana Kevorkian.
Anna Trezino.
Bronwyn Kiernan.
Heather Toohey.
Lydia Caniris.
Abigail Urin.
Timothy Kirschner.
Dennis Umanya Nunez.
Charlotte Karinsik.
Caitlin Yurvich.
Michael Kleinman.
Brianna Vaccarino.
Ethan Koenig.
Wences Valencia.
Ryan Kost.
Alexa Valentino.
Lisa Kovacs.
Mackenzie Vallis.
Sarah Kramer.
Mason Vargas.
Paul Kratke.
Andrew Vasilou.
Ryan Kraus.
Alexa Vassallo.
Kelly Kropp.
El Vezi.
Gabriella Cryoniris.
Olivia Vitale.
Rebecca Kofeld.
Claire Vogt.
Tyler Kubrianchik.
Samantha Voskanarian.
Grace Laposta.
Colin Voltaggio.
Christopher Lagerin.
Kurt Wagner.
Adam Lamb.
Maggie Wang.
Luke Lamandola.
David Washko.
Harrison LeBeau.
William Washko.
Jonathan Lembo.
Kyle Wazak.
Samuel Leon.
Nick Watts.
Carl Leonard.
James Weaver.
Justin Albarca.
Matt Webb.
Isabella Bagoni.
Luke Weber.
Jaden Chifo.
Jennifer Weigand.
Colleen Dawkins.
Grace Wertheimer.
Percy DeTucci.
Kylie Wyzorek.
Jacob Eagle Stanton.
Corinne Woke.
Durant Estee.
Sophia Yearwood.
Skyla Fabricanti.
Jonathan Ewan.
Daniel Gibbons.
Haley Zaharis.
John Jaffray.
Jake Zarko.
Emily Howard.
Zachary Strojewski.
Michael Kessler.
Owen Zimmerman.
Francesca Molesso.
Jonathan Takari.
Katerina Rizizzi. Jaden Rafi. Thomas Seacrest.
Ladies and gentlemen, parents and friends, the class of 2022. At this time, I would like to introduce our valedictorian, Esther Loring. Esther, will you come on up and join me on stage? Academically, Esther has chosen the most rigorous path of study offered at Northport High School. Esther is a person who enjoys learning for the sake of learning. She had taken a myriad of AP, IB, and dual enrollment courses simply because they were interesting to her, not so that she could fit them into a predetermined box of specific courses. She has always set academic excellence as a goal for herself, and she has achieved this goal beautifully. Esther is a curious young woman. She likes to sit back, listen, observe, and then ask the what-if questions that every teacher loves to hear in a learning environment. She would not be able to accomplish what she does and to the level at what she does it at if she was not motivated. This motivation comes from within. No grade, honor, or award could drive her the way that the pure enjoyment of learning does. To this end, she is the ideal and obvious valedictorian for the class of 2022. Esther combines the two distinct worlds of science and music into one curious intellectual. Her talents in both fields have earned her numerous awards and acknowledgments, both locally and nationally. She has been an integral member of the Brookhaven National Laboratory Student Partnerships for Advanced Research and Knowledge since 2019, the Long Island Science Congress Award winner, and a 3-time award winner of the Science Olympiads, to name just a few of her science acknowledgments. Her music endeavors are just as impressive. From earning the seat of principal oboist of the Long Island Youth Orchestra for 5 years running, to Stony Brook University Undergraduate Orchestra as a high school freshman, and numerous awards, events, and accomplishments in between. Her love of and talent of the oboe is second to none. The educators who have spent countless hours with Esther in their offices, classrooms, labs, and studios over the last 4 years will agree that she is positive, goal-oriented, a leader, talented, inquisitive, collaborative, and passionate about her pursuit of knowledge. Esther will continue her studies at the Peabody Conservatory of the Johns Hopkins University. We will watch on the Tiger sidelines with great pride as she continues her love of learning next year and in the future. Please join me in welcoming the valedictorian of the class of 2022, Esther Loring.
Hi, guys. So we're graduating. Can you believe it? Even standing up here, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it. But anyway. I'm sure many of you have experienced a moment or several moments in the past few weeks where it really hit you that high school is ending and that next year you're probably going to be somewhere doing completely different things. And I don't know what I just said, but somewhere completely different, doing different things. For me, one of these moments was getting yearbooks. For others, it might have been senior sunrise, and for others, it might have been prom or the paper toss, and for yet others, it might have just been sitting in their favorite class during the last few days of school, when the prospect of never coming back to that class made them realize how much they were going to miss it. Yeah, that was me too. Graduating high school is probably seen as a positive for many, if not all of you. It's a celebration of our childhoods and the beginning of our futures. But as the reality of this change in our lives sets in, we also begin to feel a lot of pressure. At this time in our lives, we feel a pressure to know what we want and where we want to go. But in reality, many of us aren't going to know these things for sure for several years, if ever. I think it's helpful to recognize that we are asked this out of a curiosity and a genuine interest in where we are, not with an expectation of a complete and thought-out answer. We're still young and changing rapidly after all, so even if you do think you know where you'll be in 5 or 10 years, you might still not end up doing anything related when you get there. In just 4 years, every single one of us has grown and changed. Our perspectives have shifted, our opinions have evolved, and we've accrued tons of new knowledge. It's kind of incredible if you think about it, at least it is to me. Over the next few years, we are going to college, trade schools, the military, the workforce. No matter which way you go, you'll be met with a plethora of opportunities to explore new things that you haven't even heard of yet. Although this may seem overwhelming, I would encourage all of you to look at your next steps as a playground where you can explore different hobbies, interests, career paths, etc., without having to be bound to any one thing, unless you take particular interest in it, of course. I think an almost universal high school experience is feeling frustrated and restricted by our parents. Although they may sometimes or even often frustrate us, I think we'll come to realize that that they always meant the best for us, and we're looking out for our best interests even if they didn't express it in ways that we would have liked. Now that we are graduating high school, we're going to be much further separated from our parents and have the opportunity to figure out who we are as our own people. We should take this opportunity with vigor to discover what's important to us and the things that we want to pursue. This is not to say we haven't done this so far. We as people are always developing, but now we'll have the opportunity to do so with fewer limitations. As we separate from our childhood selves, we will get to know and expand our own limits, interests, and values. We'll be able to explore new things that interest us, and we'll discover new things that we don't even know about yet. This freedom comes with a power, but also a responsibility. In my opinion, 3 of the greatest strengths of our generation are understanding perspectives other than our own, tolerance of those who are different from us, and general knowledge of random little things we encounter either through the internet or reading. Our generation, unlike those of our parents and grandparents, has grown up with the internet. All of us have had the ability to spend countless hours learning about everything and nothing all at the same time through YouTube, TikTok, Google searches, and more. Although we may in the moment view the time spent scrolling through our phones or computers as wasted, it's not all bad. In doing this, we pick up tidbits of information, perspectives that differ from our own, and encounter people who view the world very differently from ourselves. This is a good thing in that it promotes the tolerance of others and shows us that we aren't the only people out there. I hope that we all grow up to embrace these positive traits and pass them on to those who are younger than us. As we enter the adult cohort over the next few years, we will be able to and should use these strengths to our advantage as we attempt to create the change we desire. I don't know about all of you, but I certainly find it hard having a positive outlook amid all the injustices, tragedies, and overall negativity in the world. However, I believe it's important to recognize our power as a rising generation of adults to bring about change. As graduating seniors, we are poised to become a very prominent cohort of people, energetic to accomplish all the things we've dreamed of accomplishing, and take steps to fix all the problems in the world that we've noticed but not had the power yet to change. The way for us to actually take advantage of this position is to try to keep a healthy and balanced view of the world, recognize the positive things in addition to the negatives, and realize that the world is malleable and things can and do change. We should also set realistic expectations and goals for ourselves. I'm a true believer in dreaming big, but also having closer, more attainable goals to guide you on the way. Your big goals should stay big, but if you break down your big goals into a series of smaller goals, so much more is possible. This allows you to feel accomplished and confident along the way and provides a safeguard against feelings of wasted time and self-defeat in the event that your plans change. Also, when you do this, things that seem insurmountable at once become manageable because you focus your energy in the present instead of on a future possibility. For example, as many of you know, I'm an oboist. When I was in 7th grade, I joined a youth orchestra, the Children's Orchestra Society, and I fell in love with orchestral music. I think it was around that time when I realized how serious I was about oboe and started to dream of having a career as a professional oboist in a major orchestra such as the New York Phil or the London Symphony. I also had smaller related dreams, get into the Long Island Youth Orchestra, which I accomplished as a freshman and has been one of my favorite places to be ever since. Do a summer music festival, which I did the summer after freshman year and will again this summer, actually starting tomorrow. Go to a music conservatory, another dream that I will soon be accomplishing when I continue my education at Peabody Conservatory in the fall. In the future, I hope to join a local professional orchestra or band, and maybe after that at last audition for a major orchestra and hopefully win a position in one. Because I turned my big dreams into a journey of smaller dreams, at this point, even if these last two parts don't happen, I will still feel fulfilled by my musical journey. I have found that approaching a big dream in this way is less exhausting, less daunting, maintains my enjoyment of the subject, in this case music, and allows for development and change of plans with less stress and anxiety. None of us can accomplish our dreams, big or small, on our own, which brings me to some special people that I would like to thank. First, I would like to thank my parents. Mama and Papa, thank you for instilling in me a desire to learn for the sake of learning and to always strive to be the best version of myself. And thank you for supporting me in and transporting me to the million activities that I've always wanted to do. Thank you to my sibling Flint for always being one of my biggest cheerleaders and putting up with my shenanigans for the last 12 years. Thank you to Grammy, Grandma, Grandpa for all their support of me all these years and the adventures that they've taken me on. Thank you to my friends for providing encouraging words when I'm down, laughing at my jokes, sharing interests with me, and being terrific friends. Thank you to my classmates and teachers for teaching me not only academic material, but how to be a good person. Thank you to all of you for shaping me into the person I am today. I am so grateful for all of you. Some things that I hope that every one of you takes away from both this speech and just growing up include tolerance. Continue to keep an open mind to people and experiences that are different from your own. Strive for understanding, or rather, acceptance, because it's extremely difficult to understand something that you have never experienced yourself. Engage yourself with the world. Don't be afraid to try new things outside your comfort zone. Although it may be scary, to do so will also be very rewarding. Abide by the sayings, don't fight fire with fire, and two wrongs don't make a right. Dividing ourselves so viciously doesn't make anything better, and it prevents productive change from being made. Life is about compromises. Of course, we always want what is best for ourselves and those that we care about or feel connected to, but we need to remember that compromise is always an option, and that an all-or-nothing attitude quite frequently gets you nowhere. If you end up in a situation that you do not like, try not to feel like it's impossible to change your trajectory, or the trajectory of the world for that matter. If you believe something's impossible, it will be, but if you hope for a possibility of change, it just might actually happen. Realize you don't know everything, and that's a beautiful thing. Look at knowledge as fluid, not as a fixed thing, and don't feel bogged down in the things you don't know. See it as endless opportunities to learn and grow. Take care of yourself, of course. Exercise, remember to eat on a regular basis, take care of your physical hygiene, take a break when you need it. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. Thank your parents, family members, friends, teachers, mentors, and all the other important people in your life for raising you into the person you are today. And be excited for the future. Regardless of whether or not you're spending the next few years how you hope to, know that things will work out and you will find your niche eventually. View the next few years as a prime opportunity to discover who you truly are and make yourself into the person that you want to be. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to thank our Board of Education, Superintendent Robert Banzer, and our Central Office Administration for their work on behalf of the class of 2022 and all the students in our district. In addition to the faculty and staff at Northport High School, I thank the talented faculty and staff of our district elementary and middle schools for their formative role along our graduates' journeys. I'd also like to acknowledge the assistance provided today by the following groups: the Northport American Legion for their consistent support of our students and for providing refreshments today. The East Northport Fire Department, Mr. Angelo Cocciola, Mr. Terrence Hinson, and Ms. Denise Keenan, our school counselors, our school district nursing staff, our interpreters for the hearing impaired, our high school custodians, Mr. John McEnroe, and our high school security staff, PTSA President Alex Meadows, our music department who helped set up today, our teachers who are here with us today, our clerical staff. To all these individuals, we applaud your tireless efforts and endless dedication to the students in our school community. Here to bring the ceremony to a conclusion, please join me in welcoming back to the stage Michael Torres. There's a lot of barbecues waiting for you, Michael.
Fellow graduates, the tassel change signifies the completion of this important stage in our lives and allows us all to recognize our potential for a successful future. Graduates, please stand. At this time, please join us as we change our tassels from right to left. Congratulations.